There's a power station buried in the center of your body, and right now you're running it at a fraction of its output. You can feel it on the days everything clicks. The work flows, ideas land, people lean in, and you move like the world is rigged in your favor. Then a different morning comes, and the same person, with the same skills, can barely send a message. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly what's flipping that switch, and how to keep it on. 100 years ago, Charles Haanel mapped this in the master key system. He pointed to a cluster of nerves sitting just behind your stomach, the solar plexus, and called it something strange. The sun of your body. Not a metaphor he tossed off lightly. He meant it the way an astronomer means it. Think about what a sun actually does. It sits at the center and radiates. Every planet, every orbit, every season depends on that one source pouring out energy without asking permission. Pull the sun out, and the whole system goes cold and dark in minutes. Haanel's claim was that you carry a sun like that inside you, and it radiates a kind of vital energy into every part of your life. Your body, your focus, your projects, the way you show up to the people you're building with. When that center burns bright, the energy reaches the edges of your world. Your work feels alive. You start things instead of circling them. So why do some days feel like the lights are out? That's where his real insight cuts deep. Haanel said this inner sun has one enemy, and only one: fear. The moment fear enters, the radiation stops. The clouds roll in front of the sun, and everything downstream goes dim. Your energy doesn't leak out slowly, it cuts off, like someone tripped the main breaker. And here's the part that should make you sit up. The fear rarely announces itself as fear. You think you're just tired. You think you've lost motivation, or you're in a slump, or you need a better system. You open the laptop to ship the thing you've been building, and your hand drifts to your phone instead. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. What actually happened was quieter than that. A small dread crept in. A worry about whether it's good enough, whether they'll laugh, whether you're wasting your 20s on something that won't work. That dread reached your center and dimmed it. Then everything you tried to do downstream ran on emergency power. Watch how it spreads, because this is the genius of his model. Fear about money tightens your chest, and suddenly your creative work goes stiff and lifeless. Fear about a person you respect makes you avoid the message, and the avoidance leaks into your training, your sleep, your whole rhythm. One cloud over the sun, and the cold reaches places that had nothing to do with the original worry. The vital energy that was supposed to flow to every area gets choked at the source. This is why hustle advice keeps failing you. It tells you to push harder, wake earlier, white-knuckle your way through. But you can't out-discipline a tripped breaker. Grinding harder while the center is dark just burns you down faster. The work isn't to force more energy through a closed valve. The work is to open the valve. So how do you actually open it? Haanel's answer was almost offensively simple, which is exactly why most people skip it. He said the sun cannot shine and the clouds cannot exist at the same time. Light dissolves them. So you stop wrestling the fear, arguing with it, trying to think your way around it. You bring the light back, and the fear has nowhere to stand. The light, in his system, is a particular quality of thought, closer to a resonance than an idea. A calm, deliberate sense that you are connected to something abundant, that supply is not running out, that you have a right to expand, the same settling that happens when you play a track retuned to 432 Hz through a tune, link in the description. And your breathing slows on its own. He called it consciousness of power. You might just call it a settled, unshakable certainty that you're going to be fine. Picture the difference in your own week. The builder who's afraid checks his numbers 30 times a day, refreshing, flinching, bracing for bad news. His sun is behind clouds, so every decision comes out cramped. The builder running on that inner certainty checks once, calmly, and gets back to the work. Same screen, same numbers. One of them is radiating. One of them is freezing. The difference was never the data, it was which one let fear touch the center. Now you might be thinking this sounds like just telling yourself to feel good. It runs deeper than that. And here's where the inner work gets demanding. Haanel was strict about something he called the mental diet. Every fearful thought you entertain is a cloud you're personally building and parking in front of your own sun. Feed your mind a constant drip of worst-case scenarios all day, and you cannot expect the center to blaze at night. The discipline is brutal, precisely because it's invisible. Nobody sees you choosing, again and again, which thoughts you let live. That's the practice. When the dread creeps in, you catch it early. While it's still a wisp instead of a storm, you face it. Then you turn toward the light deliberately. A slow breath, a steadying thought, a return to the simple fact that you are connected to more than this one outcome. You let the warmth come back to the center before you act. Hold that as your standard, and your baseline state stops being anxious static and starts being quiet power. There's a detail in here that people miss, and it changes everything about how you treat your own attention. Haanel said the solar plexus responds to what you dwell on, the way a body responds to food. You wouldn't eat garbage for a week and expect to feel sharp, yet you'll scroll through a feed engineered to make you feel behind, watch 10 people your age supposedly winning bigger and faster, and then wonder why your center feels dim when you finally sit down to create. That comparison spiral is fear wearing a costume. It looks like research. It looks like staying informed. What it actually does is roll a fresh bank of clouds in front of your sun, every hour, on autopilot. The feed isn't neutral input, it's weather, and you're choosing to live under it. So part of tending the sun is brutally practical. Guard what reaches your center, the way you'd guard the one machine your whole operation runs on. The voices you let in, the thoughts you rehearse on the walk home, the story you tell yourself about how it's all going. None of that is harmless background noise. Each one either feeds the light or builds a cloud. You're already curating that input every day, whether you admit it or not. The only question is whether you're doing it on purpose. Haanel even gave a physical anchor for it. He had people sit still, fully relaxed, and breathe with attention on that spot behind the stomach, picturing it growing warm and radiant. The point was training. You're teaching the center to stay open under pressure, so that when the real fear comes, the muscle is already there. You build it in the calm so you can use it in the storm. And the storms will come because you chose the harder road. Your own projects, your own income, your own body, your own mind. Nobody handing you a structure to hide inside. That road generates fear by design. Every launch, every cold message, every bet on yourself is an open invitation for the clouds. Which means the skill of keeping your inner sun lit is the whole engine of the life you're trying to build. Sit with the uncomfortable part of this. If your center is the source, then external winds will only fix a darkened sun for a moment. Land the client, hit the follower number, get the money, and if fear still owns your center, the cold comes right back within days. You felt it. The high of an achievement that evaporates by the weekend, leaving you anxious again, chasing the next hit. That's a sun with clouds parked in front of it, and no outcome on earth burns them off permanently. Only you can from the inside, every single day. This is the responsibility nobody warns you about when you decide to build your life on your own terms. You become the keeper of your own energy supply. There's no manager monitoring your output, no schedule forcing your hand, no team to carry you on a dark day. The flow that reaches your work, your training, your relationships, all of it traces back to one center that you alone are tending. Let fear settle there and the whole system goes cold. Keep it radiating and everything downstream comes alive. Notice what this does to the meaning of a bad day. The slump you've been treating as a character flaw was a weather report. Clouds moved in. The sun got covered, and covered things can be uncovered. That reframe alone changes how you fight. You stop attacking yourself for being lazy and start asking the only useful question: what fear crept in, and how do I bring the light back to the center? Most people will spend their lives trying to rearrange the planets, fixing the symptoms at the edges, while the source sits in shadow. You now know where the real lever is. It was never in your schedule, your tools, your strategy stack. It lives in the one place you can't outsource, can't automate, can't delegate to a smarter app. Tend the sun, and the orbits take care of themselves. So here's what to do the next time you feel the lights dim and the work goes stiff. Skip the extra pressure. Go to the center first. Find the cloud, name the fear, and let your certainty burn it off before you touch the keyboard. Then, work from warmth instead of dread. Do that for 30 days, and watch how much of your old struggle was ever about ability at all. You walked in thinking you needed more drive, more grit, more hours. What you actually needed was to stop standing between your own sun and your own sky. The power station was always running. You were just blocking the light. Step aside, let it pour, and build something that finally feels like it's yours.